Alright, so now I'm going to show you how to attach the clasp. And in this case, for the sample, I use the snap clasp, which is right here. Not rolling away. So I get it. Okay, there we go. Alright, so this is the bottom part, this is the top part, and the top part is what snaps in to the bottom part. Let me move my little sample out the way and bring in the finished sample. Here we go, right here. This is the bottom part, which is stitched right here on the end. And this is the top part, which snaps in. Now, for the top part of the snap, what I did, and I'm going to turn it to the side so you can see. You can see here that it's tubular herringbone for the first 2 rows, and then more rows here, it's just flat. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 rows, 2 rows of tubular and 8 rows of flat herringbone. Again, 6 columns wide, so that's the same. So it's just flat herringbone. It's 8 rows high, and it fits the width perfectly of this size snap, which I believe is a size 2. I think it's a size 2. Either way, depending on how wide you want to make this bracelet, I do go over that in the instructions. You can make this wider or thinner. Depending on how wide or thin you want to make this bracelet, you do want to make sure that your snap fits perfectly within the width of the bracelet, so it can fit nice and neat under the flat herringbone. So when you snap it, oops, there we go, it's under the beadwork. Okay, so you want to keep that in mind. So I'm bringing back our sample here. We're going to work on this. I'm going to show you how to attach the ends here. So what I did, there we go. So what I did from the 3 rows of tubular herringbone, the 2 that we added with the bicone and the 1 on top, you can see here I added 1 more row right here that's just flat. Okay, so that means I have 7 more rows to add. So I'm going to do our little dog leg just like we would in flat herringbone. So I'm coming down out of this bead right here, this one right here. So I'm going to stitch up just through this bead, and then I'm going to stitch over up through this bead. Like so. So we did our little dog leg just like we would in flat herringbone. And so like I said, I already have 1 row here of flat herringbone, so I need to add 7 more. That way it fits the length, fits the actual diameter of our snap clasp. So you're just going to add rows of flat herringbone just normally. I think I came down too far. We do our dog leg right here. And then come up through here, like so. So now I have, let's see, just I need 6 more rows of flat herringbone. Alrighty, so I went ahead and added the 6 more rows, so I've got a total of 8 rows of flat herringbone from the tube right here. So it's 8. So I have my needle coming down 3 rows down on the first column right here. What I'm going to do, I'm going to come up through the same row, 3 rows down, but on the second column. So this bead right here is the bead I want to come out of. So I'm just going to do like so. Alright? Okay, so this is the inside of the bracelet because see where your clasp sits and how it folds. So this here, where you can see the tube stops and the flat starts, is the inside of the bracelet. So this is the inside and this is the outside. So you want your clasp to go right here. Again, this is the top part of the snap that snaps into the bottom part. So that's the part we're going to work with first, is the top. And you know the top because it's flat, it's really flat, and the bottom part is more rounded, so it's kind of like a well. Let me hold it a little better. There you go. Top, bottom. Put the bottom to the side, work with the top. Alright. Alright. So, my needle is coming out of row 3. Well, actually, let's see. This would be row 5, counting from the bottom up. Row 5. This is the 5th column right here. So I'm coming out of here. Pick up my clasp. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch up through hole 1. I'm going to treat this as hole 1 and this is hole 2 of our clasp, okay? Hole 1, hole 2. Stitch up through hole 1. I'm going to go back down through hole 2. So you see it's really loose and just kind of hanging out there a little bit. So now what I want to do is I want to find this row right here. We're going to treat this as 1 and 2. So this will be 6. This will be 5 right here. So I want to come down through column 5, row 5, this bead right here. I want to stitch down. Like so. Okay. So the thread falls across the top of the snap. Let's see if I can pull it. There we go. So it falls right across the top. Right here. So what we're going to do now is, now that I'm coming down out of this bead right here, is to just stitch, I mean not really stitch, but kind of just make sure your needle is coming like from, and your thread is coming under the 2 threads here that's stitching this snap clasp to the herringbone. So you stitch under it and then you go back up through that bead there that we first exited on column 1. I'm sorry, on column 2, row 5, like so. Stitch back up through that bead. Stitch up through hole 1 of your clasp, down through hole 2 of your clasp, and back down through that bead that's in column 5, row 5. like so. So I made 2 passes. And it's kind of hard to see the beads, but all you have to do is just look through the holes and you can see what bead you want to stitch through. You can see that bead right there, you can see that bead right there. So that's fairly easy. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to come down. I'm not stitching through any beads. I'm leaving that bead. And I am going to just stitch right through. We're going to call this at 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm coming up through 3, stitching through hole 4. It's coming up through hole 3 of our snap, stitching over through hole 4. So I'm going to go down. And I see that bead that sits right in a hole. It's going to be on the same row that we attached the top to, like the top holes right here. So hole 1 is attached to column 2, so this is still column 2, so we want to bead on column 2. Sometimes it's a little hard to see, so just stitch through the snap, then stitch through that bead. I'm going to lift it up just a little bit so you can see. You want to stitch right through that bead. Like so. And then on the same row, you stitch up through column 2. And then up through hole 3 of your clasp and do the same thing again. And then you pull tight. Let's see here. This side for our finished sample, I think I went over about 4 times. Up here and down here about 4 times. So you can do the same. And you pull tight and you can see that the snap is hidden under the beadwork. So that's the top part of the snap that's going to snap into the bottom part. Okay, now we're going to work on the bottom part of the snap. We have it right here. Okay. Alright, so now I'm at the other end of our very, very long bracelet. And again, remember, this is the inside of the bracelet here. Hold on, oops. Not much better. This is the inside of the bracelet, and this is the outside of the bracelet. You don't see the clasp, and the inside you do. Now, whenever we're attaching our snap clasp, and I don't care if we're working on peyote or herringbone or right angle weave or whatever stitch we're working on, this is always going to be the same with these snaps. You want the nubs to be facing in the same direction, as you see here. You don't want to attach one like this, because what will happen is that as you try to let me see. As you try to bend it, you know what, let me show you on a bigger sample because that's not working. Alright, so you see on this end here, and on this end here, they're facing the same way. I'm going to twist the bracelet for one end's going to be facing another direction. And so when you try to snap it, you can snap it, but what will happen is that it'll snap like so. Your bracelet will look like that, and it will look really strange. It won't be continuous. So, or it won't snap in at all. So you want to make sure that these little nubs are facing in the same direction. So if you're looking at the inside of the bracelet, you should be seeing the nubs facing towards you going up. And that's the outside of the bracelet, okay? So here what I'm going to do, I am working on the inside. This is the outside. bracelet here. These columns and rows are the inside. So working on the inside. I'm coming down right now out of column 4. I'm going to go up through column 3. And I do not know why I am counting from right to left right now. I should be counting from left to right. I have no idea what's going on with me, but I'm counting from right to left, so sorry if that was a little confusing. So my needle's coming out of column 3. I'm going to pick up a seed bead, just one. And I'm going to stitch down through column 4. Back up through column 3. Oops. Oh my, I can get my needle through there. It's weird. Oh, there we go. Back up through column 3. Through our added seed bead. Like so. And back down through column 4. Back up through column 3. Then we're going to exit our added seed bead. Now you can go through that a couple more times to reinforce. Just fine. Now what we want is for the seed bead right here to kind of sit above the bottom of our clasp. So it'll sit like so. So it's kind of sitting inside of the well. Just like this is kind of awkward. And on top of that, if you have it on this side, it's kind of hard for the top part to snap in because you have this little bead that's sitting in the way, so it won't snap in properly. So you want this like so. That's how you want that. So as we're exiting our added seed bead, this one right here, let's call this hole 1 and hole 2. Stitch through hole 1, down through hole 1, up through hole 2, and then through our added seed bead. That seed bead right there is hanging out. Down through hole 1, back up through hole 2. And you would just keep doing this about, 4 or 5 times. How many more times you can get your needle through that seed bead without breaking it. And it'll be nice and secure. And this will be the other end of the bracelet that the top part of the snap clasp will snap into. This is the bottom. So that way, you see it here, looks the exact same way. See, looks the exact same way. And so that way, when you snap it, the directions are the same, and it's hidden under the beadwork. And so there you go. And that's how you would add on the clasp, and that's the finished project for your Firdousa bracelet. As you can see, it's not that hard. A few new steps to go over, especially adding the bite cones and flattening it. There's probably some new techniques for you, but I find them to be pretty handy if working on any other tubular herringbone project that you would like to have flattened even without the bite cones. Yeah, you can certainly do that. Use that little technique. So there you go. Hope you enjoy your new bracelet. I hope you enjoyed watching these video tutorials. Let me know if you have any questions. Do take care and happy beading. Bye bye.